I'm on a date tonight, so I'll have to just looking good. No, I'll just do it in front of her, shouldn't I?
Going! He's kept going! He scored! Oh, Stockport pressure. And the header into the back of the net! That's Palmer! Armstrong played in the game. And a superb goal! Johnny did it! Lisa! It's a cracker! Rose tries to get the ball in. Wilkinson! The ball in it's a 5-star performance from Stockport County.
All right, we've got a small house, but we've got a big bloody heart, I tell you.
What day is it?
It's Monday.
What time is it?
It's 8:02.
Yes, it's 8:02-ish, and it's most definitely Monday, which means we are here, we being SK3 TV, the podcast bringing you all things related to Stockport, including but not limited to music, culture, and tonight, as every Monday night, Stockport County. You'd think it'd be a relatively quiet show tonight, what with us just having one game to review, but you are bang wrong. So much to get through, and to help us do it, it's a woman who's now spent more time on the Edgeley Park pitch than Ben Knight. It's Hannah.
Yeah. And I've been at Edgeley Park. This is the third day in a row. So I did whoever we played on Saturday, Rotherham. And then I went to County Ladies yesterday, who played York. They lost 1-0. But York got promoted as a consequence. So it's nice for them. And then today for my guest appearance at the Family Fun Day / open training session, where I saw no open training, no family fun or anything apart from you lot, which was lovely. And I did some shopping.
That's all you need. That's what it should have been advertised as. It should have been like Monday open social day with people I know and like.
Yeah. Well, that's bold, isn't it?
All right. What do you know?
But you know what? So for public information announcement, the shirts are reduced to £30 from whatever they were. I think the adult ones were 47. So I bought myself a smaller pink shirt, which was exciting. And it fits, which is even more exciting. I bought myself, I should have brought it down. Maybe, do you think I could run and get it in the national? I'll save it. During the National League random goal of the week, I'm going to go.
Oh, now this could be good because it's only 36 seconds this week, the non-league county goal of the week.
All right, well, I'll give it a go. Let's try.
I can stretch it out. Don't you worry.
I mean, it's not far logistically. It'll be fine anyway. Right, I'll give that a go later. And what else did I buy? I bought some stuff for our Swedish friend that's coming in a couple of weeks. That's nice. And yeah, but there's loads in the shop that's reduced. There's more stuff in the shop reduced that is on the website reduced. So they've got polo shirts, loads of the kids stuff. There's some new stuff as well, which we found.
There is. That was the first time I've been in the club shop in a very long time. I did not realise the till was there anymore. That shows when I last went in.
Oh, well, so not this season then. When did it close for ages, didn't it? Do you remember as the shirts were coming out? So it was like last July.
So that was the last time I went in. Yeah. It would have been end of the previous season that I went in. Yeah.
Yeah. But they've got really loads of stock in like all the sizes. They've even got some little teeny tiny ones left. Can't remember how much they were. Maybe 25 quid for a full kit. But yeah, also some new swimming shorts. God, you see, Mark Woolley and I said earlier on we should get paid, or we should just work. They should give us a job because you know, there for 3 days, and then here I am flogging the lovely swimming shorts that they've got.
Maybe they'll send you a gift voucher or something. That'd be nice of them, would it not?
I mean, I wouldn't say no, but it's unrequired.
Yes, yeah, you're going to be spending in there anyway. We are not just here to shill for the county club shop, though. We are also here to do admin, and we are, of course, sponsored by Blackbird Kitchen on the pan at Gorilla Manchester, and also flipping some excellent, good old-fashioned proper burgers at Impossible Manchester. What else is in admin? Before we get on to the really big stuff. So, if you're heading down to Peterborough on Friday and you've exhausted all possible listing avenues, so let's say you've listened to this, then you've caught up on our very special 40th episode featuring none other than Andy Priest live at the Spinning Top, then you might want to change your pace. If all of the above applies and you like what we do here, then check out our splendid Spotify playlist in conjunction with Geordie Hatter and his fantastic Away Day show. It's bloody good, and that goes for both the Away Day show and the playlist. So that's in the Linktree thing at the bottom. And what of admin from me before I hand over to you for the biggest admin of all. This time next week, we will be live at 7 p.m. instead of 8, and we'll be doing it live with our friends at Stockport Gin. We'll be in the distillery room there. I feel like we did like Danny Lloyd, and we were in the big event space upstairs. I feel like the Danny Lloyd night is like James Acaster at Manchester Apollo. And this next week is very much our work in progress show, where you want a grittier, you want them close, you want to see the whites of their eyes when you're failing to make them laugh, that sort of thing. Okay. That's what I feel like that is. So no tickets for that. Just come down and buy drinks. So the show will be starting at 7 p.m. on the dot, because people will still be watching on YouTube. Did we decide whether we're doing a pod on Saturday to talk about Friday?
A pod on Saturday? I didn't even know that was a thing, but yeah, I'm on day 1.5 of a child-free existence, so I am free as a bird on Saturday.
There we go. 2 podcasts next weekend for you, Saturday and Monday, which will be live at Stockport Gin, but also live on YouTube at the same time. But come down, see us, say hello, it'll be fun.
Do we just asking, like, as you've thrown open the gates, is there an upper limit in terms of not that I think that we'll need it, but should we be concerned?
What, in terms of numbers?
Yeah.
No, we'll be all right. If you're planning on coming, just let us know. Just so
let us know.
Yeah.
That'd be appreciated. Just
that's the way to do it.
We don't care if we're there on our own, quite honestly. But I am baking, so we'll have lots of Easter bakes.
There will be Easter treats, and are you gonna? Is every 10th one going to be a drug cake?
No.
Did we not agree to that? No, not going to play Russian roulette.
No. Some might have mini eggs, some might have cream eggs. That's about the only jeopardy.
That's a drug cake, as far as I'm concerned. The noises I make when I consume them, they're definitely drug cakes.
Yeah, but that's Monday night. So yes, I might get some crisps as well. Very exciting.
Crisps, nibbles. Well, 6:30 for nibbles. Show starts at 7 prompt.
Yeah, but I mean, it's very laid back, isn't it? It's kind of a
if people have seen this, they'll know.
Well, no, I know, but it's not grand, not fancy.
That is. Oh yeah, I could do my crisp 147 finally. I'll get them to get a pool table in there. Right. We have an extra. We've got a big giveaway, have we not, Hannah?
Yeah, I didn't know. I was going to be responsible for it. Have you got it there?
No. I didn't until about 3 seconds ago.
Look. So we have got on today a very special guest in the form of the very lovely Dave Thompson. Dave Thompson, along with Dave Wardle, Jamie Redding, Steve Cunningham. Is that it? Dave Wardle, Steve Cunningham.
Jamie Redding, Dave Thompson. Yes, I think it's...
Dave Thompson. Yeah.
Oh God, if there's someone that we've
no, there is Eddie from the Community Trust, Eddie Owens. Eddie Owens on the pitch on Saturday. They are walking from Peterborough after the game on Friday to County for the game on Monday. Dave will tell us all about it, but we wanted to have a little bit of a raffle for the shirt that Nick has just so lovingly held up.
For a moment there, I was pretending I was a player who signed.
Right. Yeah. But, so it's signed by we think all of the players.
If the player was there signing stuff today, they have signed this. So, no one was missed out.
We don't they don't come around very often. There's always someone missing. But the only thing we ask of you to enter the draw is to make a donation to the walk. We will share the link. Can we put it in the
I will.
chat?
I'll absolutely get on that. I'm getting the link now.
All right, while I'm talking, and it'll be on our Twitter, and it's also on there's a link to it on the Stockport County website, and
it'll also be in our episode description.
Yes. So if you'd like to enter the draw, it doesn't matter. The value of the donation doesn't matter at all. Whatever you can afford, and just in the comments, just put like SK3, so we know that it's for that, and send me a kind of screenshot of your donation. You can like wipe out how much you've donated. I don't care.
Yes.
It's just about adding to their pot of money. So yeah, we will. When will we draw it? On Monday, maybe?
Maybe we'll draw it live on Monday. We'll do a random number generator or something.
Yeah, but so you can send it to me on X, on Facebook, however you can reach me. You can find my phone number's on the internet, so I'm not even that bothered about giving my phone number out.
Yeah.
So for work. I think at some point in the past, it's because it's on press releases, so if anyone's that bothered, you can Google my name and you can find my phone number quite easily. So yeah, we shall do that, but we need to know to be entered into the draw, we need to know kind of who you are and how to get in touch with you if you win, and we'll give you a number. So if you don't get a number back, then consider yourself not entered in the draw. God, I feel like this is I've really overcomplicated this. It's not.
No, I think that was spot
on. But yeah, so you've got a week to do that. Nearly.
Yes, I'm just currently scrolling through Twitter to find the link, which will be in the
I sent
live
it to you
chat.
earlier, so it's on the WhatsApps.
Thank you. I will find that. Seeing as we've mentioned it, yes, I went and got that shirt signed at the signing session. I have put a challenge to you, Hannah, because when they were all arranged in a horseshoe, as you said they would be, and then we went around all the players, and then we got to the last four, and that was what I can only describe as the naughty boys. It was like wet play, Hannah, is exactly what it was. I want to see if you can name the four players who made up. Ah, excellent! You found it, lovely. Yes, if you can name the four players who made up the Naughty Boys Cup.
I think it would be Odin Bailey.
No,
but he's the naughtiest of naughty boys at the moment.
Nope, he was not.
Oh well, then. Oh, well,
he wasn't far away from the naughty boys, but he was doing he was keeping himself distracted. He wasn't involved in the naughtiness.
He was my nailed on bank naughty boy. Right, I'm not looking at the comments now because I've just seen. Right, who else? Jay Mingy, I think, is a naughty boy. Oh my God! Who did Dave Challoner kick the cooler over in Adolf on Saturday? I can't remember. Let's see who else was on my list. Michael Hamilton.
Hannah, you are disappointing me.
Right, hang on. Right, so my rationale for this is Dave Challoner's Naughty Boys.
Oh no!
Okay.
I'm talking mischief. I'm talking drawing on each other with Sharpies while the signing stuff.
In that case, it's Fraser Horseball.
No.
No. Oh my God, Macca.
Of course, yeah. Macca was.
You know what, I wouldn't even have got that if it wasn't for Dan Moult, because I've forgotten about him a bit.
He was the ringleader. Macca was.
But yeah, I'm not surprised. Right, so who does he? Tanto.
Nope.
No, I was just thinking about who hangs out with who. Will Collar.
The other three players didn't. The other three players did not play on Saturday. They were not involved on Saturday at all.
Oh.
This is
Lewis Gay.
Yes.
Really? He's the captain. He's behaving impeccably.
I mean, when I say naughty boys, they were just drawing on each other with Sharpies.
Olivia needs to kick their ass for that. They weren't right as well afterwards. Right, no, I can't even. Who else didn't play? Clown Oil.
No, the other two.
Nick Powell.
Were...
No, Nick Powell's
No,
not a naughty boy.
Nick Powell was just before the naughty boys, but he was
Okay.
like he was
Naughty
very well
boy
behaved.
Jason.
Naughty boy Jason, yeah, like you on here. Callum Camps
He was
was one of the other
supposed to be in
ones.
charge of them as the nominated grown-up.
Yeah, that's it. He's got his prefect's badge on, and they just won't listen to him. Callum Camps was one of the others, and Ryan Rydell was the fourth. But Ryan Rydell was very much the quiet boy who's accidentally been sat with the naughty boys. He was not indulging in as much horseplay as them.
Oh, well. Do you know what? Do you remember someone telling us ages about the players playing knock and run? That was Ryan Rydell and Maka.
Yes, was it Pinatar?
No, Pinatar was the Lincoln players. It was last year. But no. Oh well. They're I'm glad they were enjoying themselves because it's one of those things that I'm sure isn't fun for them. It's a really amazing thing, and that queue was ridiculous today, wasn't it? I mean, it went from the 1883 well into the pop side, past where the temporary pop side toilets were. So you know they were there for a long time, and I don't blame them at all for cheering themselves
Absolutely.
up.
Well, not just cheering themselves up, Hannah. I've already told you, but I'll tell this story again because it's great. So, some guy who does a county podcast just made Owen Moxon laugh. I think that's not only has he got our sponsorship, but he's also getting laughs from us. And basically, what I said to him was, "Oh, we sponsor you, your away shirt." Well, what I actually said was, "We sponsor you," brackets away. And told him, he's like, "Oh, cheers, nice one." I said, "Oh, Hannah's very excited to receive your shirt, but weirdly, she doesn't want the one with blood on it." And he laughed and said, "Oh, that one will be going in a bin." I said, "Yeah, it's almost like she doesn't want to clone county players." And that brings us on nicely, because sat next to Owen Moxon, laughing away, was a Mr. Bradley Hills of situationship fame, which takes us on very nicely to the game, which we will get onto after this. So a few weeks ago, we discussed the Brad Hills. Well, we discussed the whole concept of falling in love with a lone player. I'll just remind people of what was said a few weeks ago, and then, you can chastise the fan base, Hannah. Just a quick word for Brad Hills. It's happening again. We're falling in love with a lone player all over again.
And we've already been told that this is not a long-term relationship. This is a situationship. It's not going to go anywhere. No one should be buying hats. Like, this is not going to last. It's a fling. It's a fling with an end date. He's going off to East Anglian University in this whole analogy. And, oh my God, I wish we could keep him.
It's happened. We're on the rebound. And we haven't
learned any lessons.
We have not learned any lessons. We've not gone to therapy. We've not spoken to our families and friends. We've not even deleted Louis Barry's number. What do you have to say, Hannah?
He's Louis Barry.
Correct. Correct answer.
Genuinely, no one has learned any lessons from this. At the first sign him up from the Cheadle End on Saturday, I said to Dan, I was like, no, we can't do this again. No one's learnt their lessons. We told you. We know. Mr. Challoner has said, this has probably gone school teacher, hasn't he? Mr. Challoner, the head teacher, has told you about this before. You see, no one likes telling people off, but I feel like it's necessary. He's not signing for us in the summer. It's not going to happen. I mean, now as I'm saying it, I'm like, well, maybe if I say, it's like me I bet against us on Saturday, by the way, you're welcome.
Okay.
And yeah, he's going back to Norwich. Norwich are very keen to have him back. This was very much a loan. It's not forever. stop it, all of you.
And
Because otherwise, we said this, every time someone signs over the summer, it'll be that's not Brad Hills.
absolutely, yeah. I mean, on the one hand, we won't have people saying that's not Louis Barry. No, because we will. We'll have
We
that as well.
probably
Because
will.
I'm sick of it already. You know, I got home from the game on Saturday night and I thought, 3 points closer to the playoffs. There'll be nothing will annoy me online tonight. No county fans are going to annoy me. And what I went on Twitter to be greeted with was people micro-analysing the goal celebration of Brad Hills. And stop it. Just stop it.
Someone said like tagged me in it, and they're like, what do you think about this goal celebration? It's like, it's not that deep. He's just pointing at the ground. It's his first goal for the club.
Yeah.
The scoring at the Cheadland must be really special as well. First home get, like, you know, lots of firsts, and that's all it is. It's not that deep. He's
Would you have been doing it if he'd like asked to borrow my whiteboard and he'd like written on the whiteboard, I quite like it here, and just held it up? Would that have been people like? Cause that's essentially what it was.
Like, he talked, and Louis did this in fairness as well. Like, talked about how, you know, the fans have made him feel really welcome. We make everyone feel welcome. In fairness, that's the kind of club we are. Yeah. And you get behind your own players, however long they're with you. Yeah. But you know, he talked about the club and, you know, the support, and then said, hopefully, I'll score a few more before the end of the season. Not hopefully I'll be here forever and ever and ever.
No. Yeah, it's just enjoy it. It's fine. We're friends with benefits, and that's okay. That's cool. That's cool. It's the modern world. It's 2023 now.
Yeah. It's not going to last forever. You reply to people's texts like it's cordial. You know, there's an acknowledgement, some enthusiasm. Yeah. But otherwise, just got a fixed end date.
Yeah, it's all fine. Well, what would it, before we delve deep into the game, would you like a brand spanking new feature?
Yes. Yeah. I really would. Yeah.
Let's do it.
You're on Approved County Facebook group, host of the week.
I feel like
never laughed so much at something I've done than I did at that today.
I feel like this might be something to watch, look at through my fingers.
Yeah, I mean, is it possible to listen to things through your fingers? So, to outline the feature, essentially, we've asked our moles who are in charge of some of the county-adjacent Facebook groups. Some of them are scared to death of modern life, these groups. Some of them aren't. We'll accept all comers. So what we are asking for, because certain groups have to, all the groups, because people are mental, have to have posts approved before they get submitted. Which I'm sure people will be aware of. So we've managed to, now we're not going to embarrass people by naming them or anything like that. We're not going to reveal our sources, but what we are going to do each week is read a post that hasn't been approved. Right. I think that's going to do it. So this is a post from this time last week on the Facebook supporters group. Just a thought. In light of the horrid abuse Foden got off United fans this last week, and knowing he's a county fan, could some form of chant be done to show him our support? One of our own. Thumbs up emoji! Should we just let that hang? Or should we? Right. Where to start? I mean, not a county fan, for a start. Not our problem.
Can you imagine? Like, just... He's one of our own. He's one of our own.
Oh, God. I'd die right there and then.
This is a brilliant feature. Let's do it every week.
We will. I'm hoping we can have I'm hoping we suffer a defeat at weekend. Maybe suffer a defeat on Friday, and then we can have more of them.
I don't doubt that this will be a richly contested competition, and at the end of the season, we could have the
unhinged Facebook post of the year.
Yeah, that we can vote on them.
Yeah, we'll do that because I think we'll get quite a few built up. We can do it for a podcast Christmas card.
Yes.
We can have a different one on the front of each one. That'd be good.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. I mean, no. I don't actually have any words. I can't. But I'm glad that it wasn't. Oh no, maybe it should have been approved. Because it would have brought joy to some people.
Yeah, but when you're an admin, you don't want to be dealing with the comments. But let's move on from that. And what we'll do, we'll get our guest out, and then we'll come back to everything else after. But the best thing about that feature is that I decided about 7 seconds ago that I'm going to bookend it with the jingle again.
Your unapproved county Facebook group post of the week.
I will never, ever tire of that. And you know what else I will never tire of, Hannah? I will never tire of speaking to our next guest. It's Dave Thompson. Hello, Dave. How smooth was that?
Seamless.
Oh, lovely. How are you keeping, mate?
Very well, you?
We're good. Hannah's annoyed at the Phil Foden stuff, but other than that...
I just thought that. Yeah, I'd not seen that one, but that does seem...
No, you weren't, because it was unapproved.
Yeah, it was approved for a reason.
That's me understanding that part of the...
Because also the fact that it's not been approved protects the guilty, essentially.
It's like when people post anonymously and like ask someone's... I don't know. I don't think it being... If you've got something to say on social media, don't leave your name off it.
Yeah.
Don't post anonymously. But...
Yeah, I was just checking that my Twitter's got a picture of me. It's fine. It's
social media.
Right.
No, it's when like you just go on Facebook and that, and it's like posted anonymous member.
Oh
like,
God, yeah.
You know
when there's no need.
Yeah, even if they're posting nice stuff, just you've got to write it. Anyway, I've just realised as well, my camera's back to front, which as a photographer, I hate everything behind me.
I remember you taking my phone off me one time and being like, can I reverse this photo for you? I was like, yeah, if you want.
Probably had a couple. Sorry about that, Hannah. But it's a big, that's a big pet hate of mine. I don't know why my camera's done that there, but there you go.
Oh, funny.
Can I change
Keeps
it?
on our toes.
Yeah, I'm not going to change anything. But that is seamless at my end. Hang on, let me grab it because you obviously can't see it. You're all squinting like old people.
No, we're just old. Well, I am.
Behind the
But I
gym.
am.
Oh my God, you've got hoodies and everything.
Oh, excellent.
Which obviously is back to front as you're reading it, I'm guessing.
No,
it's spot on.
Oh, right.
Spot on for me.
Oh, that's fine. So on the back, you will see us. We'll tell when I say us, we'll tell you all about it in a bit. On the back, if anyone wants to donate at Peterborough or while we walk back.
Oh, look at that.
Good thinking.
I'll add the link into the comments again, Dave.
Let me just hide old Caroline's gin. Yeah.
Don't hide it. Get it out.
Leave that up there. So yes, so that was. I'm glad I'm not back to front. Then it's just my end that I'm back to front.
So
right.
yeah, my work one does that actually.
That's fine. We can carry on regardless.
Yeah.
Best way. So before we get onto the walk, obviously, I'm sure a lot of county fans will know your story, Dave. For those who don't, do you mind just telling us about how you first got involved with Mentel and the work you did with County early on?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started going to Mentel as a service user in, I always think it's March or April. I think it was around April 2022. When our son George had took his own life in the October of 2021. So that's how, if people do actually come up to me and ask about the flag now, and they kind of want to know about George. Someone asked me the other day about the picture in the corner of the sunrise. So, and like everything else on the flag makes sense, but what was that? And that was a picture George took when he was in Amsterdam with his mates about a month before he died. So that's kind of the bit of the flag that's personal to us.
Yeah.
So I got to go to Mentel, as I say, April 2022, just because I'd asked my GP for some help. Caroline was seeing a really good counsellor at the time through NHS services. And I knew I was at a tipping point. So I went to see my GP, asked for support, got told to go home and fill out a form for healthy minds who George had been with. So that kind of didn't particularly feel like a good meeting of minds. But we did. She wanted me to do it. I said I wasn't going to leave until she'd done it for me. So she did. She filled it out. I then got a phone call telling me that the form that I'd had to fill out when I got home hadn't registered me enough points to receive counselling, despite losing a son to suicide. So my reply to the person at the end of the phone was, would they like my other son, to do something similar, and then I might qualify for enough. She then spoke for an hour and a half, going through the same questions. And after question 5, I said to her that what you're doing here is manipulating my answers to make me get enough points, which she denied. But lo and behold, at the end of the call, I had enough points. The counselling began. My counsellor was, to be fair, excellent. But only after the 4th week, I wasn't getting anything on it for the first 4 weeks. It got to week 5. Then it started to feel like there was something beneficial. And it lasted 13 weeks. At the 10th week, I was told that was finishing, and I wasn't ready for that. I got 3 more weeks of it, and then it had to finish. Around all of that was Mentel. And if Mentel hadn't been there, so Mentel filled the first 11 weeks while I had to wait to get to see a counsellor. Then it worked alongside the counsellor, because Mentel isn't counselling, and people may or may not know that. It's literally just a talking circle for you to talk or listen. That's it. There's no advice. There's no go and do this. It's a place to go for you to talk about whatever you want, and it stays within the 4 walls of Stockport County. So I kind of went round in this counsellor Mentel week or bi-weekly with the counsellor. And then the counselling finished, and then it was like, okay, so all I've got is Mentel and my family, which is brilliant. And that kept me going for another, I reckon, a good 2 years after as well. Yeah. Pretty much going every Monday. And then they asked if I could. So Jo Mellor, who some people may know, she's not a county fan at all. She loves county because of the link with Mentel now and how that's developed. But she asked me if I wanted to go and help her on a volunteer basis with the community team. So we were going around Stockport and various other places around the area and Manchester and play. Anyway, and then it got to a point where they got some funding, and they asked if I wanted to get involved on a paid part-time basis. So as a self-employed photographer who does have a lot of quiet time, that kind of was a no-brainer for me. That's something I did for about 12 months. I do less of it now just because I've spoken to Jo quite openly about this. And again, it's where Mentel is so understanding. I kind of said to her that I almost need a little bit of a gap, just a little bit of a breather, because as much as I love talking about George, and I will always say to people, please don't not come and ask me about George or his struggles because you think you know someone who may be feeling similar. I would rather people come, especially at matches and wherever, come and ask. But going and talking about my story constantly, even on podcasts and things, and I'm more than happy to do this today, but it almost depends on the timing. You know, like if you could have asked me, Nick, and if it had been the wrong time at the wrong day, I'd have said no. And that's just down to me and me as an individual. So Mentel were then very much like, no problem, just do your photography, do your whatever, and then when you are quiet, if you feel like coming back and doing more, I'll do more. And I still do the odd thing that we do. There's a golf day actually up in Stockport in a couple of weeks. The guy called Tom Gradwell, his dad took his own life. I can't remember the year, to be fair to Tom, but I think it was around 2006, I think. And he's putting a golf day on, and that's a full golf day. So I'll go along and support that, and we'll have a little stand on the 9th hole. So I still do stuff with them. But I mean, the way that they have become almost ingrained within this fabulous football club of ours now is largely down to Jo at Mentel, to the way the supporters have listened to what people have said about Mentel, and that goes from people like Steve Bellis, Dave, and the guys at the community team, and genuinely as a community of football supporters embracing things like the Mentel match day. We've only done 2, and at the second one, I said to Dave Wardle, I went, "Do you think the video at half time is a good idea again, Dave? People have seen it once," and he's like, "You have to play that video."
Yeah.
And it does. It just makes people stop and think and listen, and I'd rather that. I don't want people to get morose about it on a match day or be thinking, "Here we go again." I mean, if people are thinking, "Here we go again," then that's all right. It's 2 minutes of a video, and people are entitled to think that. But yeah, it's a brilliant charity. I can't say enough about the people behind the scenes, of which there are plenty, and the work they do is invaluable, particularly in communities like Stockport and everywhere around.
Yeah, so it's a real, because we've talked a lot about the community stuff, particularly over the last few weeks, and how we've been able to not just maintain that since the takeover, but to bring it onto new levels. And I think everything you've been involved with is just a shining example of that. It's great.
Well, I did actually watch, because Super Danny Malt, who did the run the other week, I knew he was on, so I watched his earlier on today for a bit of inspiration. So I am also a big advocate of the Vitality Walk, because Vitality Run, Kickstart campaign, I think is its proper title.
Yes. Yeah. It would have been a Vitality Walk if I'd done it.
Yeah. Well, Caroline did it last year. And she loved it, and she's like you said last week, Hannah, or whenever it was you did it. She was not a runner. She does not run, and she really got into it, and she loved. She was buzzing when she did the 5K. I was so proud of her, because just like I say, exercise, and Caroline just doesn't like running around like that. So I did it this year, and I thought, well, I'll incorporate it as part of my training for our walk. And then about 7 weeks ago, walking home, I had to ring Caroline to pick me up because my calf popped. So, but even then, I said to Dave, I said, "I'll come along. I'll just walk it. Instead of running it, I'll walk it." But seeing everyone, like the progression, the last week of the run, they do 8 minutes running, 2 minutes walking, 10 minutes running, 2 minutes walking, 8 minutes running. Oh no, what was it? No, it was 25 minutes non-stop. Something ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a lot.
At the end of it, people like Dan and that who, as they say, were going along, and you'd hear people say, "I didn't think I was going to do this 10 weeks ago."
Yeah.
And at the end, they were buzzing because they'd done it non-stop, and they felt absolutely brilliant. And that is what, to me, those kind of things are about. And without people like Dave Wardle and Sinead and Hayley, who was the trained athlete to do it all, you don't have it. And it's just seeing people get such a buzz out of doing something like that, achieving something that they didn't think they were going to be able to do was ace. So if I know you guys were saying you might do it next year, honestly, get on it if you can, and that's to everyone who watches. If you get on it, it's such a good thing that they do, and it really challenges you.
Well, now we found out we can do it and then get back for 8 o'clock for the podcast. Then
nothing's stopping us now.
Easy.
No.
Easy. No excuses now. No excuses.
It's just a good job we've not said it like live on the internet or anything,
isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, like when I said that what was it last year? If we get promoted for the first away day, I would go on the Jolly Costa coach. Yeah. Didn't.
Did you not come on the coach?
No.
Well, it's not the Jolly Costa now, it's the Edgy Conquest.
No, I know exactly. Oh, it's null and void. Never mind.
The cheek of it, the absolute cheek. So, in terms of this weekend's walk, it's not your first rodeo, is it? You've done. There've been quite a few events prior to that. How was that? Because there certainly seems to be an element of building up to something. Because obviously, I suppose you have to with these things. You need to keep them getting bigger to capture people's imaginations. And I'm really worried where you're going to go after.
Well, this could be. I'm 49 this year, so this could be my last one. Yeah, I don't know. This was like, so we did Chesterfield a couple of years ago, which Damon was massively sort of a push behind. Damon Carroll, that is. I mean, my brother-in-law Nick Gowdy did that with us, and you ask him how he trained for it. He spent 3 days on the lash. Honestly, he got in at about 2 o'clock in the morning the day before the walk with a kebab. got to bed at 3, and he turned up at Edgley Park in like walking, like Caterpillar work boots and all of that. And he
Move aside, Bob Mortimer. Nick's got a new idol. Come
honestly, God, but somehow he did it. But that one was right through the night, and then
I remember that. Yeah.
and then I had my silly idea for the boxing marathon, which was still the best thing I've ever done in my life. That was just ace. And then I can't remember how, but I went to see Steve Cunningham, who people know as Scouse, around September time. And I'd said to him, I said, I fancy doing something else. Are you up for it? And he'd said, well, he'd been thinking the same thing. So we looked at the fixtures that were left, and we knew we'd have to leave it a bit. We'd have to do a bit of training, so it would have to be 2025, not back end of 2024. And we looked at the away games, and we were thinking, well, kind of, we've done Chesterfield distance, so anything between 25 and 50 kind of feels like we've cracked that one. So what's happening over Easter? And we saw Peterborough, and then we saw Edgley Park. We were like, okay, well, how far is Peterborough? It's not that far, is it? Google Maps did say, I think, about 117. So it's a bit less. It's around 113. So Steve works for a charity called Pure Insight. I'll tell you, you know about Mentel. So my original thought process was, as a family, I would like for us to give something back to the community. So I wanted to raise something for county and the community. Money for county. That's it. Money for county and the community. Done. And then I spoke to Scouse, and I was like, well, he said, I'd like to do it for Pure Insight. So I said, brilliant, 2 charities, great idea. Pure Insight, for those that don't know, and I've written notes on this because I want to make sure I get it right. I spoke to Steve earlier. What they do is they provide people from about 18 to 25 who are basically care experienced young people. So they've come through the care system from whatever age. And what I didn't know is when they get to 18, they are basically given a flat, see you later. Go and find your way in the big wide world. Go and find your own GP. Go and find a dentist. Go and do. Christ, I'm 48. I don't think I'd be able to find a new GP. And part of Steve's role is to help those people on that path. But as he said, his role is to put smiles on faces. So he organises days out for them, and that could be going kayaking with stuff that they've got, taking them out on bikes, going down to a beach, just going somewhere to try and give them a little bit of real life experience of fun, I suppose. But while he's doing that, he also takes them, he'll have chats with them about, how are you? And because they're out in the open air, they don't necessarily feel like they're being interrogated or they're being interviewed. They're just chat with a bloke while they're having a walk or riding a bike. So that's a lot of what Steve does is based around that. So when we went to see Dave Wardle and Eddie Owen and Alison over at the trust, I said we'd like to raise money for the trust and money for Pure Insight. And straight away, Dave and Eddie went, well, the trouble is we want to do it with you. We want to do the walk. So why don't we add Mentel as a third charity because of the link that's already here with the football club? So that became 3 charities. Then, bless him, dear old Jamie Redding was like, I want to get involved in this. And we knew we didn't want, when we went to Chesterfield, bless him, as I arrived at Edgley Park, I said to Damon, which direction are we going in? He went, we're just going to follow the signposts. That's exactly what he said to me. And I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, this is going to go west very quick. There was about 14 of us doing it. So we knew we didn't want massive numbers for the full walk. So we had a plan of just like 5 of us walking. And then we had to give it a title. Steve and his fabulous imagination came up with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, which is 5 blokes, 4 charities, 5 blokes, 4 days, 3 charities, 2 matches, 1 goal. And the goal is to basically raise the funds and raise the awareness. So what we're trying to do is we said 3 charities, if we raise £1,000 for each, brilliant, split it, £3 grand, split it between 3. And I checked about half an hour ago, and we're up to just over £1,600. So we've got over halfway already, and we haven't even put a shoe on, which is great. So that's going to be the plan. And then, as I say, we've got Alison and the guys at the trust said that they would be raising their money, would go towards the Kits by County campaign. So that again is just that community side of it, which is important for us all. And then obviously the last day, you can come and join us. We've tried to promote it a little bit, that there are checkpoints from when we leave Buxton at 6 a.m. on Easter Monday. Then there's Whaley Bridge railway station. Then the next checkpoint is Lyme Park. The next checkpoint is a Georgian Dragon in Hazel Grove. The final checkpoint is the Bamford Arms.
That's where I'll be.
Which is right, top man. Which is on Davenport Way on the A6. And because that's exactly a mile to.
Nice.
Yeah.
So if anyone's thinking, God, I don't want to do 5 miles, or I don't want to do, then, well, do you know what? 1 mile, I might be able to do that. Then just come and do 1 mile. If you fancy doing 18, we'll see you in Buxton at about 5 to 6 on Easter Monday.
It's tempting. I'm actually
the 199
in my mind though.
The 199 does run. I've checked, so you can't say the buses weren't running. The bus goes all the way to the marketplace in Buxton, and then it's about another 10-minute walk where the bus doesn't go.
Nice.
And you can thank me for this later if you do come to Buxton. I did the Buxton walk the other day, and it took me through a place called Corberwood, which is like that, for about 2 miles. Then I walked across a load of moorland, which you don't want to be doing if it's going to be bad weather. So we changed the route, and we've actually added another mile to it. And I have to thank, by the way, Paul Dawson. If people know Dawson, he goes all over the place on his bike. He plotted the routes for us. So he's been an absolute godsend for that, because me and Scouts were looking at it thinking... And the only other thank you as well that I can do, if that's all right, is we have those tops where we've got a T-shirt equivalent. They were created by a company called the Creative Apparel. They're based in Davenport. They do a lot of bits and bobs for county as well. They paid for the hoodies and the T-shirts and printed them for no cost. And then because we decided walking through the night for 3 nights wasn't a good idea, we got the hotel rooms paid for by Will, my son. His godfather runs a company called Linton Exports. They have paid for 1 night. Get Active Nutrition, which is Neil Lockett, Stuart Lockett's brother. He's covered the cost of 1. And then because people kindly bought plenty of George's T-shirts, we have, as GHT, we've paid for 1 of the hotel nights as well. So through that, we've been able to cover the cost of that. So that means that the cost of the hotels and the staying over and the promotions won't have to come off any donations or out of too many people.
And if people fancy donating, obviously it's in the comments right now if you're watching live. If you're catching up later on either YouTube or podcast players, you'll find the links in the episode description. And also, when you do donate, don't forget to mention SK3TV and send us the screenshot to confirm your donation to be in with a chance of winning this. The ink is still wet, guys. This is big. Yeah, every single I have gone through it in my head. I don't think every player that was there signed it, so I think that's the whole squad. Wow. Apart from those who are out on loan. Sam Hughes wasn't there, the loser.
Fiorini.
He wasn't there, yeah.
Well,
Players
no
out
one
on
wants
loan.
it then, do they?
Yeah. God, you want people to donate to this, but there's no Lewis Fiorini on it. Yeah. Oh, God. Yes, so, Dave, we will wish you the best of luck with it. Another fantastic challenge for not just 1 fantastic cause, not 2 fantastic causes, but 3 fantastic causes. We will see you at some point on... If I'm not in Buxton, I will be at the Bamford Arms. I will tell you that much. Not for the walk or anything. I'll just be there because it's out there. Yeah. Like, do you remember when that person got? There was a thing in the paper ages ago that someone got arrested for having sex with leaves.
I do remember that.
Oh yeah, you remembered that very quickly.
I have got such a bad memory, but if I remember rubbish like that, yeah.
You don't forget that sort of thing, do you?
Well, maybe that's the reason.
Yeah, that's it, innit? Right, Dave. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure talking. Enjoy it.
Thank you for having us on and letting us talk about the walk. I appreciate that.
Anytime, mate. Anytime. Anything you need, just give us a shout. So yes, we will see you very soon. We'll definitely see you on Monday, and we wish you the best of luck with it, Dave.
Thanks, guys. Nice to see you both. Take care.
Bye.
everyone.
You too. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Dynamite podcasting.
Yeah, it's such a great initiative. It's a massive walk. They're doing something really incredible. So yeah,
really, people should get down there on Monday morning at whatever time. Or we'll post the link to the various checkpoints that you can join in on. That's good.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. Yes. I was thinking if I do have to go across Moorland, then imagine the state of me when we get to the live show on Monday night.
well, you won't, will you? Because the last bit's like literally up the A6. You're not going to.
Well, yeah. There's no Moorland between the Bamford Arms and Edgeley Park, as far as I know.
No, nor between Whaley Bridge and the Ram's Head. It's literally just straight down.
No, but if anyone's going to find some more land, it'll be me. Maybe I'll stumble upon some. Right.
Oh, I know. Just before that, I did want to say, and I think it was kind of alluded to in what Dave was saying, but the joy of Mental is that you don't need to wait for a referral. So he was talking about kind of delays in getting access to various services. With Mental, you can literally just go. You don't have to wait. You can go whenever it suits you. And there's also Andy's Man Club, who offer a similar service but do online circles as well. If you're not quite sure about going to a meeting in person, then Andy's Man Club do online circles as well. It's very similar.
And there will, of course, all the relevant resources you'll be able to find in our episode description. Yes. Do you before we have a bit of a delve into Saturday's game?
Yeah.
Let's see how fast you can run and come back. Well,
I'm
do
ready.
the random
so
counting
dark.
only goal of the week as sourced by Chris Eaton. Let's go. Dave Philbin again making a tit out of himself. Here's the actual random counting only goal of the week as sourced by Chris Eaton.
Richard Brodie's goal. We said we thought it might need a second county goal. And it's the substitute who's delivered. It might be a third here. Oh, what a goal! What a strike that was! A long diagonal ball and Dean Henderson with the assist. The county keeper with a long diagonal. It was allowed to bounce once inside the area. And, well, if I'm going to compare it to anything, you shouldn't do this, but Marco van Basten back across the face of goal into the far corner. The net's still bulging now. What a finish from John Marsden. His second, county's third, game over.
That was John Marsden getting the third in a win. That was amazing. That really threw me off then because I hadn't ready what I was going to say. And then you came bounding into shot and that was incredible.
What?
That was John Marsden getting the third in a win at Alperton. Alperton, one of those grounds that is sort of everything that was great about that era. Just a big, massive hill that you could drink on and watch the game. That's all I've ever wanted. You're back, baby.
I'm back. So it's gone dark since I came down here. So between here and the house is like one deck with 2 steps and then a bigger deck and then some more steps, another little deck and another step. And trying to navigate that in the kind of semi-dark while rushing was the thing. But look what I got today.
Mini Vernon! And we actually had a 10-minute discussion about who you should get it signed by.
Yeah, so he's unsigned at the moment. But it's time will come.
He's a free agent.
Yeah, he's a free agent. I might take him on Tuesday to the player sponsor thing. I think maybe I need an Owen Moxon Teddy in my life.
But he knows you exist now after our conversation earlier. Do you want me to get him to bleed on it for you?
No. Thank you.
Just a quick one, a quick last comment from Dave Thompson there. As obviously we discussed other resources. Another helpful thing is the Hub of Hope, which allows you to search for support in your area for the issues you want support with. So that'll all be in the episode description.
Yeah, Vernon's gonna live here. I think I like it.
I can't even get involved in the Vernon chat because I'm just thinking of bear pun player names. So Benno
Ben.
Andresen.
Oh, that's
Benno
good.
Andresen, yeah. And he'd love that. I've seen pictures of him looking very bemused holding people's children this weekend.
Oh, bless him. So,
Yeah.
the other thing that I had to go back for a meeting. So I wasn't able to join this whole melee. But
The circle of joy, I think we like to call it. Us who were there.
But I got you to get Benno to sign
The horseshoe of hilarity. Once I got there.
When I see them next Tuesday,
Sorry about him.
Watson's like, "Oh, nice to meet you. I'm glad that you're normal compared to your colleague."
Yeah, who's that weird guy, and why weren't you his carer that day? That sort of thing. Oh God! Right, we should probably get on to Rotherham with it being nearly 9 o'clock.
I mean, yeah, there was a football game.
Yeah. Which we will discuss right after. I'm still basking in the triumph of the double jingle earlier. We'll get on to that after this. I've just seen Odin Barely in.
I know that was good. I like that one.
That
might be, yeah.
That might be the one. Yes, in terms of Saturday's game, then, despite going 1-0 down early on to what was, quite frankly, a bloody awful goal to concede, it was like we did that thing that we occasionally do where we forget that we play football. And just didn't seem to the ball got crossed in the air, and it was just people looking around going, "What's that round thing coming towards me?" That's that sort of thing.
It's like when a plane goes over and everyone just stops.
Yes, oh, look at that! Oh, it's a big boy. It's an A380. Despite us going 1-0 down, yeah, get on flight radar. Let's see where it's come from. Despite going 1-0 down early on. And there's been a lot of talk this season about how when we go 1-0 down, we don't tend to get a result. I didn't get too arsed. I didn't feel, even at 1-0 down, that there was any danger that we wouldn't get all 3 points. Would I be correct?
Yeah, I think we've come from behind. I think a few times recently. And I've always got in my head that 2-0. Once we go 2-0 down, we never come back from it. So no, it didn't. Yeah. It was early enough that it didn't feel definitive. It felt soft. Although saying that, I rewatched it on the highlights on Saturday night, and it looked much less soft from a different angle. But it was what it was. I think we didn't play brilliantly. 3 points is 3 points. There were lots of individually very good performances. SK3 TV sponsored away Owen Moxon, first shot of the game. And I was like, this is it. This is going to be.
He's arrived.
It's 90 minutes. But what you do see, you saw Chalner's frustration. I mentioned earlier, kicking the water cooler over or whatever's in that fridge. It might be, I don't know what's in it. I'm going to find out though. Now I know what's
Jägermeister.
And he kind of tripped over it and then very sheepishly had to put it back up, which was the highlight. But both Brad Hills and Owen Moxon, when they came off, you kind of saw what it meant to them, but they also came off kind of shaking their heads, not shaking their heads at, I mean, I'm, reading into body language and things that I've got no business talking about, but my interpretation of it was
we've discussed this earlier on.
It wasn't like they were shaking their heads because they've been subbed off. They were shaking their heads because they knew they kind of maybe hadn't done what was being asked of them, or that, they were a little bit frustrated. I mean, Brad Hills to have scored the goal and still to be feeling like that, I think reflects what Charlie said after the game as well, in that it was 3 points, but it was, a bit pedestrian, although, I mean, pedestrian was actually one of his criticisms because people weren't running enough. And, he wants players to leave everything out there. And, that's his frustrations, isn't it? And, he is a very you don't need a degree in body language to read between the lines with some of Charlie's reactions. He's really tough on them, but it's, you know, we're at a point in the season where every minute matters in terms of, you know, it wouldn't have taken much, you know, eye off the ball to go 2-0 down, and then, you know, that's it.
Yeah, and of course, the SK3 TV sponsored away, Owen Moxon, was heavily involved in the equalising goal. The equalising goal for a resurgent Jack Diamond, who his best performance for us.
Oh, I love watching him. I love that you always knew that, like, you saw flashes of brilliance like months and months ago. And I've always been, well, like my dad said, it's almost maternal. Like, I've always been really invested in, like, I want him to, you know, prove himself and to show everyone what he's absolutely capable of. And, you know, we've seen like little bits, we see these runs, but like the pass was missing, and then we saw that come in, and then what we got on Saturday was like a really clinical, technical ball control that wasn't just, it was him kind of tackling, controlling it, and then playing it forward, rather than him just being on the wing and taking that ball and running forward. And it's almost like the evolution of Jack Diamond. It's a lovely thing to watch.
Yeah, he's been sort of built up, and it's very much the same with Jesse Fevs on the opposite flank as well. You get the sense that he's getting better game by game as he's getting this run of games, and for that to be happening at this time of the season is probably the thing I'm happiest about the most at the moment.
And Charlie said before, well, it's in the programme notes actually, that he expects to have Benno back potentially by Friday for Peterborough, and Lewis Bate back by the end of the season, which I took to mean the regular season. So, you know, should we venture on and have additional games after Wickham?
Well, so speaking of Wickham, I can reveal that a friend of the show, Chris Eaton, asked Ben Hinchcliffe during the signing.
Did
when he was going back, because he didn't participate in the training session.
Right.
Ben, it was Wogan, Metcalf, and Adai were the three goalkeepers involved in the sessions. So there's no Ben Hinchcliffe involved. Kyle Noyle at the very start was on an exercise bike next to the tunnel. Well, I don't know if he stayed there for the whole session or if he got involved in one of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chris Eaton asked Ben and said, "Oh, how are you coming along with the recovery?" And Ben is adamant that he wants to play in the game at Wickham. I mean, so am I. To be fair, I want to play in a game against Wickham, but I'm not a professional footballer. He is.
Well, I mean, good for him.
I mean, I suppose if we're already guaranteed one of the top 2 playoff places, then it would make sense to make changes in that game, which would see him come in. But you get the feeling with Ben Hinchcliffe, he'd quite happily, like the day after his injury, he'd have quite happily just played. Like straight off the operating table. I think he's one of them. But yeah, so that was a nice bit of gossip. In terms of the second goal, we saw Odin Bailey. It reminds me on Football Manager, if you've got a player who's not playing as much as you've promised him, he'll come to you and say, "Look, why am I not playing?" And you say, "Oh, I'll play you in the next few games." And then what you do, you play them in those 3 games and then don't play them again. And it stops them from asking you. It's like a glitch. It stops them from coming knocking on your office door and saying, "Look, I want to play." So I'm getting that sort of vibe of Odin Bailey. But Odin Bailey was playing off the right-hand side, which is where he played in pre-season. And now that we are playing a system that has almost wide forwards cutting in, it's like it's the perfect system for him to come in big for us at the end of the season, as he did last year.
Yeah, and Charlie at the moment is really using the bench. So there's only Wogan and Mike Hamilton that didn't come on Saturday, and I think that's it's lovely that we continue to have the squad depth at this time of the season, but I feel like it's a bit strategic as well in terms of, you know, making sure that players have got something left in them. I mean, that season, was it 22-23? after the Salford second leg, like Ryan Rydell in the 1883 with blood seeping through his socks and his flip-flops because he'd come back early and he just looked absolutely broken. And that's not the energy that you want kind of going into massive games. And obviously we know what happened the week later, although, you know, in fairness, very, you know, it was penalties at the end of the day.
Yeah,
and
can't happen to anyone that. Yeah. I mean, in terms of, it feels weird because we just come on here every Monday and talk about another win, and if on the face of it, if people are looking at our results, it'll just be, oh, they won again. They're gonna make it into the playoffs. But when you look close, like zoom in and look closer into it and see what we see week in, week out, what we're seeing is, so we've got Diamond and Fevrier both starting to look like the players we thought we'd signed. We've got a lone player in Brad Hills who has stepped in and immediately become one of our best players, and people are falling in love with him, which is really annoying. Corey Adai, after, I think it's fair to say, a bit of a shaky start for various reasons. He's coming in and looking like the undisputed number one. You've got Kyle Wotton adding goals to everything else he already does for us. I think he's on close to 20 goal contributions for the season now, which is, imagine writing that off. Tanto wasn't getting game time earlier in the season, had an injury prior to that, and now he just looks unplayable. As much as I've said, it feels like one of those seasons where we just miss out before going up. Even I'm starting to... I was whispering it quietly on Saturday, Hannah. I was, after that Wrexham draw, I was whispering things quietly in the courtyard.
I veer between it's the hope that kills you and the very lovely Taylor Swift's live for the hope of it all. And I am still enjoying it. It doesn't feel jeopardatious. I don't think that's the word. Like, it doesn't feel like there is massive amounts of jeopardy. I'm enjoying the games. I'm not dreading them. This time last year, like, until Notts County, it felt, you know, I thought that, like, Colchester for me was like the floodgates opened. I just stood there and sobbed. Morecambe was kind of a bit more like, okay, this is happening, but then there was still Notts County to come, and I didn't enjoy it at all. This time I'm just enjoying watching us play increasingly good football and winning when maybe we have no right to. But I am still betting against us. And I had a conundrum on Saturday when we went 1-0 down. I was like, do I cash out? I didn't. I think it was the right choice, because that could have negated the the powerful the whole thing, like messing with the universe. So I didn't want to risk that. I will continue with it on Friday. At some point I might have to start, like, it's you know, only halfway through the month, so I've got a long way to go till payday, which is bad, and I keep buying shit like Vin and the Bear tattoos.
We're all doing our bit in different ways. You're doing the betting. I'm making glib comments on Twitter during the game. It's just it's that sort of thing. Talking of glib comments, obviously because we had them during the Northampton game the other week. There was a point in the first half where their goalkeeper kicked the ball out of his hands. Kyle Wotton had his back to the proceedings. The ball hit Kyle Wotton on the back of the leg, looped towards goal, and I just get the feeling the referee didn't know what had happened. I think he looked away for a minute at the same time Kyle Wotton did. And next thing you know, Wotton and this keeper are going for a bouncing ball in the air, and Kyle Wotton wins it. And all of a sudden the referee just thinks, well, I should probably blow here.
Yeah.
I should. I don't know how Kyle Wotton hasn't got a yellow card for dissent at that point.
It was...
because I'd have lost it.
Yeah. He's so calm, though, isn't it? Like, the amount... like, I didn't award a Muga rating on Saturday, but it would have been fairly high.
Yes.
But I'm absolutely stunned week in, week out that he doesn't lose his shit. And you could, like, he will get frustrated, but he just it just never goes too far, which shows his maturity as a player and the experience that he's got.
Exactly why I said about him losing his shit. Basically, that's exactly why I don't play football application. But we'll forget about those two. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it in the slightest. And then speaking of the man himself, Carl Watton, he weighed in with the third goal, which was. I don't think he'll get for the finish, and rightfully so, but he doesn't seem to be getting any credit for the way that he bent his run. I've watched it a ridiculous number of times, and you can see that Pi maybe could have played it a bit earlier, but the way that he holds his run and then shrugs the defender off it's otherworldly. I loved that. That was my favourite goal of the three, because there was no reading anything into the celebrations. It was just, that was a good goal. Yeah, we're going to win. What did the celebration mean? Oh my god!
It's just, it's just standard now, isn't it? 4 goals in however many games.
Very much so. Very much just whenever.
Yeah.
Prolific.
It's
prolific.
but this is why I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. Just keep enjoying it, Hannah. Because when you don't enjoy it, then it's
right, and now we've got Peterborough coming up on Friday, who obviously won the Virtue BDSM, whatever it is,
in hilarious fashion
yesterday. Birmingham taking it completely normally. Couldn't have predicted that.
Yeah, just grown men being normal.
But Dara was hilarious. So according to my dad and brother, Dara and potentially Barry Fry were at County on Saturday in the pop side. So they obviously didn't have a game. They played yesterday. But Dara was brilliant last night. If you go on the I think it was on the it was Dara, but it was on the Hard Truth podcast account. He basically was just quote tweeting really salty Birmingham fans. It was brilliant. If you go, Hard Truth podcast, they record on a Monday night as well, so it might be worth a listen today, because they'll talk about that, but they may well also talk about them going to County on Saturday. So they're
Friday. County
Friday.
Oh
my god, no, Friday. They went on Saturday. I think, I hope that they'll have been on the piss all week. So come Friday, they'll be like, I don't know where they are in the league, but they're 11th in the form table. They've properly dropped off. And this is a club that's known for being a yo-yo club, except they've stopped yo-yoing. And some of their investments recently, we saw Johnson Clark Harris on Saturday, haven't yielded the return that they perhaps would have expected. So there were a few. They've got Chris Clark coming up. They've got Mills that scored yesterday for them. That's what they do. They buy young players. Poku probably is the exception in terms of that kind of current squad, but he's been out a lot of the season. He obviously didn't play against us. That's the big difference between the Peterborough that we played in December. So I think it'll be interesting. I think they've not been great recently, and we shouldn't be too worried. They lost to Birmingham the week before. They beat Crawley. They beat Charlton actually, but I'm betting on them on Friday.
Of course, yeah. Please do.
I feel a bit Rotherham-y about them. Not overly concerned, especially if they've been on the lash since yesterday.
Correct. Let's hope they have. That's as good a place to wrap it up as any, I think. So we will be live at an as yet undetermined time on Saturday to discuss the Peterborough game and look ahead to Monday's game with Huddersfield, and then we'll be live at Stockport Gin 7 p.m. The show will begin, and it'll also be live on YouTube next Monday. It'd be interesting to do a podcast like 2 hours after a game and see how it goes. I always wonder. Did you see Oh, you made one because I think we were talking about it this afternoon. The American Wrexham fans that did a watch along of our game and called us
I've
the
heard
enemy.
about it. I've not seen it.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that on Saturday. Are there any games at 3 on Saturday we can do a watch along of? A really bad watch along?
No, it's Easter football, isn't it?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do a watch along of a county game. Never mind, like someone else.
If anyone's coming on Monday that's a vegan, can you let me know? That'd be good. Dietary requirements.
The vegans, Hannah, they'll let you know anyway.
I know, but they don't want mini eggs. Yeah. Yeah. And there will be non-alcoholic options available before anyone also says that they're a sober vegan.
Yes. There's options, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic. Cater for everyone. Yeah. Right. I think we've done everything. Don't forget to get involved in the raffle for that. Then you know what to do. We've told you, and it'll be in the description.
You know what? It would make sense. Like, I can pick stuff up from the SK because I volunteered to do the admin for this. Just send it to the SK3 TV pod account. Is as simple as anything. Just any way of getting to it is good.
Yes. And when people are finding the SK3 TV accounts, they can find them on our link tree. But what should people go doing, Hannah?
They should like and subscribe, Nick. It's really easy to do. And if you do it, you can have a cream egg brownie.
There we go. Yes, when you come over to get a cream egg brownie, Hannah will ask for evidence that you are subscribed on at least one of the platforms.
I'll check you off on my register.
Yeah. Oh God, excellent. Yes, so we will be back Saturday. So if you subscribe, then you'll see what time we're going to be back on Saturday. Maybe we'll do it at a weird time. Maybe we'll do it at like 2:53 or something.
Yeah,
it's a funny time.
Why not?
It's hilarious. Numbers are funny, Hannah. Right, let's go. We will see you on Saturday, folks. Say goodbye to everybody, Hannah.
Bye.
Bye.